Corner. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody.
What it is? What it do?
Welcome to the Connected Corner.
That's right. The Connected Corner is in the building.
Every Tuesday, 8:30. We thank you all for joining in.
Absolutely.
Hey, Nick Mosby. So we are going to get started. The amazing Tori Rose is on her way.
Yes.
You know, she out in the community,
Doing
we doing a lot of things, running businesses, campaigns, radio shows, all of this. So we're going to get started. Here today, you have me getting started.
What's your name, yo? Who are you?
They know who I am.
I don't know who you are.
Kiana B. Jones.
You wasn't here last week.
I wasn't here last week, y'all. So I was away in VA. And I'm getting some knowledge, but I did call in.
Oh, you did.
I did call in. So we're going to get started. We have our co-host, entertainment specialist here.
Yeah.
The amazing.
Yeah. It's your girl, D Nice.
Hypest host from coast to coast. D Nice.
Yeah. What's going on?
Troy.
Listen, so for your entertainment this week, it's going to be really, really short, but very very interesting. And I also have a cool game that I want to play with everyone really quickly. All right, but before we get into that, we got to give a round of applause to Jarrell Jerome and Billy Porter, who won an Emmy this past weekend. I believe it was last night. Good job for that. When They See Us, he won an Emmy for that. If y'all don't know, it was about the guys in New York. Corey Wise, he played Corey Wise's part, and he definitely won. It was deserved. Have you seen the movie When They See Us?
No, I have not.
You think you'll get upset if you watched it?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
really.
It's a lot of people. I'm trying to prepare my mind for, like, when I watch things like that. I just gotta be in a certain headspace, so I haven't prepared my mind yet for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I watched it 40 times because I can stand stuff like that. It's just more, it makes me upset, but it's like, okay, I'm glad that we actually got the word out about the movie. Also, this is crazy. A Florida officer is suspended. Well, now he's fired after arresting a 6-year-old girl for throwing a tantrum at her school.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Like, what? She's 6.
About that.
She's 6 years old. Took her, fingerprinted her, and she has a mugshot. Mm-hmm. What kind of crap? What is the world going to? Like, you can't control a 6-year-old?
Yeah, and everybody should be up in arms about that.
Absolutely. And it's in Florida, so you already know how Florida get down. Like, they do some crazy things, man. That's crazy. What would you have done if you're if an officer arrested your 6-year-old child? What would you have done?
I probably would be locked up too.
Think so? Yeah, I think we all would have been locked up.
I'm pretty sure. I probably would have violated some codes of disturbing the peace and some other things. As a mother, I can just only imagine even if it wasn't my 6-year-old, my children. I mean, they're all adults now, but like a 6-year-old, I can't even imagine
that's crazy.
My reaction to somebody trying to arrest
you putting a 6-year-old in handcuffs. Like, just imagine how that's going to be trauma. Like,
I'm trying to think, how is that even legal? Because in the state of Maryland, I know as a minor, you have to be 8 years old. Yeah, I mean, you can be 8 years old and have charges pressed against you at 8 years old.
I mean, I get that. We in Baltimore. So
Let me push back for a minute.
Oh, here we go.
All right, so you're upset that the child had an interaction with the police?
I'm upset that.
Let's think like the parent for a minute that went through that, not personally you, but think like the parent that went through that. So what are we upset about?
The fact that the kid is in handcuffs.
Okay.
At 6, I think that would be my part.
Okay. So let's reverse this. Let's figure out, why did we have the interaction with the police? Like, whenever these situations happen, I think that we talk about what was done, but we never talk about what caused the initial interaction. That gets swept under the rug, right? So the child was probably unruly. I don't know why the police came per se, unless it's school police. Was it school police?
No, it was actually a actual officer.
All right, so they had to call the police. Mm-hmm. So that means that something was going on that was monumental that they could not handle within the school. Right? Mm-hmm. But those things get swept under the rug. We never talk about it.
Right.
It's like the reaction gets overshadowed. But the reaction is usually too much. But I'm just saying, we don't never go through the whole course. Okay, police came, they was wrong, they shouldn't have did this, boom. Y'all should have handled it better, y'all should have called the police, boom. What was you doing? Why you ain't listening? Like, we never get to that part.
Right.
And so the stuff still keeps happening. Then this child gets older, and then they act out more. So now when the child's 16, then the handcuffs is gonna be okay. But we still never address
The
what
issue.
happened in the beginning.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's twofold, and I just think that we always address. You know, we go for the symptoms, but we don't cure the illness.
Go for the
Yeah, we just fix symptoms.
Put a Band-Aid on it.
Band-Aid.
Got it.
Put a Band-Aid.
That was good. That was good. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Diamond K.
Yeah, shout out to Diamond
Our
K.
political specialist in the building.
Facts. All right, here we go. We're gonna play a game. You ready?
Yeah.
It's called What Sign Is He? You ready? All right.
Sign as in like zodiac sign?
Zodiac sign.
Oh.
All right. So there was a Texas man. He is wanted by police because he divorced his wife without her consent. What sign is he?
And he forged her name.
Oh yeah, my bad. And he forged her name. What sign is he?
With Aquarius.
Ha! Let me get some more. Who you got? Leo. Who you got? Look, some more. Throw them out. Who you got? A Taurus. What you got?
That's a good one. Taurus.
Gemini. What you got?
No, couldn't have been Gemini.
You don't know?
I don't know the sign.
He definitely was a Gemini.
What?
For real?
He was a Gemini.
That didn't seem like a
Wow.
Gemini.
Yes,
move.
he's definitely a Gemini.
That's too smart.
Yeah, no. He
That's
definitely
too
was Gemini.
smart to be a
So
You know that.
wait,
Tracy.
my thing is this.
Geminis is emotional. They don't think like, let me think of the
They
best way to do
emotional.
this. They just like, like a boy.
Yo, first of all, Geminis are crazy.
Yeah, if you had said he was dead,
Oh, you a Gemini?
We got Gemini in the building.
Oh, watch my eyes. Crazy. It's like that.
if you said that the wife was dead, I would have said he was Gemini.
Oh, yeah. No. So my thing is this, though. What do you think that she was doing to him to make him get a divorce without
forge
her
her name?
and forge her name?
That's easy. Easy.
What's that? Yo?
It's easy. Okay. She was not going to grant him a divorce.
Because
He already had asked her. She already was like, no. So he was like, oh, I got you. I got you. All right, it's cool. No problem. And then he just said, I know how she right.
But why do you think that he wanted a divorce? Like,
Because she probably was a
cheated.
Gemini too.
She was a Gemini too. Two Geminis.
Oh, no, are you a Gemini?
She cheated.
Okay.
she
Okay,
cheated.
because she stirred
cheated.
me.
I think she was whooping his butt, yo. I think off of that, I think he was like she was getting it in with my man,
why
like
y'all
whooping
mad
his
at him?
butt.
I'm not mad at
I
him.
ain't mad.
I'm not
I'm just
mad at him.
saying he was scared
I
at
saw
some
the story.
point.
I was happy.
You said
I
real?
was happy. Yeah, because
I mean that's a little bit different. So like, how do you? I just never thought about doing that. I mean, I'm just going.
Just,
you know,
just do your thing, right?
encourage you
Just
to sign the
it.
papers, but like
She was
Your
like,
kids-
"You
I
ain't
don't think
going
you scared to
nowhere."
forge somebody's
You
name.
trying to tell me
You not
your
going
kids
nowhere.
Ain't never signed their name on the.
Oh, I'm sure they had.
But that was to go on a field trip. It
knew how
wasn't
sign
to
my
get
mother
a
name by, like,
divorce.
second grade.
My man is looking at 10 years.
Wow.
10 years.
I didn't know that.
That's
10
a little
years.
bit different than a field
No,
trip
I'm unhappy.
permission slip.
No.
Yo.
He dumb.
Listen, my name is D Nice, and that's all the entertainment news I got for you right now.
Oh my goodness.
Coming up, we got the one, the only Miss Tracy Allen. Yo, y'all stay locked right here to the Connector Corner. Stay locked, yo. We be right back.
Yeah. So
That was crazy. Yeah. We back. Welcome back to the Connected Corner. I'm your girl, D Nice.
I'm Kiana B. Jones in the house. And so we're going to bring up our first guest. We have coming to the chair.
Cheer.
Yes, for Miss Tracy Allen. Yeah. Tracy Allen is a clinical social worker. Come on down, Miss Tracy Allen. You want to get your phone out and all that? No. You don't want,
Oh, she said, for what?
Said, no, I'm not doing
If they not here, they need to catch up.
So, Tracy is a clinical social worker and the owner of, is it Reclaiming Hope, yes. LLC? I got that right.
Nice.
And so we're going to bring Tracy in here. We brought her here today to talk to her about, we know we have mental health. A lot of mental health issues within our community, and I know a lot of times we don't address it. I can't say how many times a day that I tell somebody like they need therapy.
Oh yes.
I say that a lot, but it's real. I mean, I say it sometimes jokingly, but it's a real thing. Like, they need therapy. A lot of us, we need some therapy. And so here at the Connected Corner, we want to give you news and resources you can use. So we brought on Tracy, and we feel like this is definitely a topic we need to talk about in our community.
Absolutely.
And
make sure y'all call in as well, 444-436-1277. Also follow us on all social media sites, RadioOnFire. Do that now. You don't want to miss this.
You don't want to miss this great information that we're going to give you today. So again, as Dee said, call in 444-436-1277. But we're going to get started with Miss Tracy Allen here.
Yes. Welcome.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Tracy Allen. I'm a clinical social worker. I went to the Morgan State University. I got my master's from University of Maryland. I opened my business in 2017, but I didn't do anything with it until last year.
Okay.
I finally started taking clients last year, and we've been on and popping since then. So business has been going well. A lot of referrals. Looking to do some contracts. A lot of awareness, those sorts of things. Just trying to spread the awareness, break the stigma, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And so we, I was going to say we got connected with Tracy because she was doing, we had our Grieve, Grow, and Goes. But really, like, Tracy and I connected. This is my cousin, y'all. Ain't she pretty? Yeah. She's so pretty.
Yeah,
and she's smart.
Natural.
You know, that's how we do in our family, you know. And so, but we got, we had Tracy come out, and we were doing the Grieve, Grow, and Grow. And I will tell you that Tracy's segment when she spoke was just everybody.
Absolutely.
Like, it was the best part, I think, of each time. And we had all kind of resources, jobs, we had Civic Works in the building. But because mental health is just such a forefront in our community, we have so much going on, so much trauma. I mean, I think that everybody there listened and could hear. And people were literally just getting healed, like right there, just hearing you speak and hearing you talk. And so we want to talk about, like, the importance of people just having some, like, mental stability and how that then affects other areas of their life.
So I think one of the biggest things is to be in touch with where your weaknesses are. I think sometimes people don't realize that they do, in fact, need someone to talk to. One of the things that I tend to post about the most is stress management. People think that they can handle their issues on their own. Stress management is hard sometimes to deal with stuff on your own.
Right.
I look at it as therapists. We're the ones that kind of help you unball your mess. If you have a ball of rubber bands, we kind of help you detangle that. It's not just about being crazy, and I use that in quotes because people tend to think when you go to talk to somebody that makes you crazy.
Right.
It's not that. It's just that sometimes you need the extra help or the unbiased opinion. We're the diary with the feedback. We can kind of give you if you've been talking about your boyfriend or your girlfriend and all your friends and family are sick of hearing about it and you need somebody else's opinion. That's what your therapist is for. You know, they can give you that feedback, that opinion we don't get sick of you.
Right.
You know, we help you come up with a plan. Like, my goal is always to be solution focused.
Right.
I don't want to sit and talk about the same things over again. And I don't want you bored. If you're bored, I'm bored.
Right.
So to be as creative as possible, as engaging as possible, so that it's fun for you and it's fun for me. That's the goal. I'm probably as non-traditional as I could possibly be.
Okay.
The goal is to make it fun, make it creative so that you want to come back and that you want to do the work. I'm definitely going to make you do the work.
Right.
But it's about healing. That's the main thing, healing.
So I think that's important. I know I usually say that to people when we talk about like therapy and going to see somebody. A lot of people do feel like it's a stigma with it, but I feel like it's an opportunity to sit and just pour it out to somebody who's objective, you know what I mean, who they don't have the same opinions and judgments and stuff like that as family or friends or people you can talk about. And so it's being one of those people that like your family or people want to talk to. There's only a certain amount of things that I can help with because I'm not a trained professional. And so I know we have life coaches and we coach a lot of different people or mentor people. We have mentorship and stuff now, and that is also, I guess, a kind of way that people get out what they want in talking to that mentor or that coach. But I think it's just very important as far as mental health. I would joke with my children, being real though, but like growing up, like tell me everything you gotta tell me now. Write me whatever letters you need to write. Get out whatever things you need to get out. Because when you're 35, you will not be blaming me for what is wrong in your life. Like I ask them like, do we need counseling? Do you need counseling? How are you feeling? Would you like to write it out? How are you? Because I understand, like when I look around and I tell them I'm hard on you because every time I encounter an adult who I've realized, have not let go of something when they were 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, or haven't let go, of how somebody made them feel in school or whatever it is, that still is affecting them. And so I just made it, my business to really put that in the forefront with my own children and say, like, you can talk to me. You can get out what you need to get out as long as, it's respectful. And if you feel like you can't say it, then write me a letter, write it out. But I need you to get your feelings out because I don't want you to be in your feelings, at 30 and you can't move forward because you hung up on something I said or something I did or a decision you wish I didn't make.
And that's good. I think that's a big issue that we're having right now, is that parents aren't teaching children how to cope. When you look around the city and you see all of the retaliation, that's a result of poor coping skills.
Right.
I don't know how to deal with what I'm feeling, so the only thing I can think to do is to get back. And it's going to be that constant cycle until people learn how to deal with what they're feeling, to sit in it and heal from it. It's going to be this vicious cycle of violence over and over and over again. People lack that. They don't know that they can write it out to feel better. They don't know that they can talk it out to feel better. Going to therapy, who's going to know?
Right.
That's the thing. Who's going to know that you're going unless you tell somebody? Where I am, it's a bunch of businesses in the building. Coming in to see me, nobody would have a clue why you're there.
Right.
It's just that stigma that people... Black people, we don't tell people our problems. What happens in the house stays in the house.
Right.
But we have to get out of that mentality because we hold on to those family secrets. Just don't leave them in the house with Uncle so-and-so.
Right.
Don't let them stay with Aunt so-and-so. Just watch the kids around them. That has to stop. Like those sorts of things create, other monsters as children. And I hate to use the word monster, but I mean, prime example, look at R. Kelly. He was created. He was introduced. That behavior was made. He didn't come out like that.
Right.
He endured 7 years of child abuse himself, sexual child abuse himself, and look what it created.
Right.
He, in turn, has used that to, manipulate and abuse other people. So it's like we have to watch what we're protecting because we, in turn, create, issues in our families.
Right.
So, therapy is a big thing. Writing it out, talking it out, exercise,
See, that was great.
anything. Those things, help. Like the smallest things, puzzles, drawing, coloring, any of the little things can help. Painting, exactly. Like the little things to cope with what you're feeling, can help. Taking a bath, using essential oils, polishing your nails. The simple stuff.
Y'all hear that? That's why we got to get our nails done.
She said polish them, meaning you do it yourself.
Oh, damn. I like the effect of you going and getting my hands massaged.
But you can do it that way. That maintenance, you can do it that way as well.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
self-care is another way to manage your stress. Like, you want to do everything. The holistic way is amazing. if you can manage that way. But some people actually need medication the other way. You know, I'm never going to say, oh, you know, don't get medicine. Some people actually need it. You know, I promote both ways. Don't, you know, sell yourself short because you don't want it because of the stigma.
Right.
The only person know you're going to go get it is you and the pharmacist. Right. That's it.
Well, unless, you know, you got nosy people might be behind you, know. That person and be like, excuse me, can you back up? I'm trying on my business.
Only in your
Do you
line,
mind?
Kiki.
Can
Only
you
in
back
Kiki's
up?
line.
Like, excuse me. Thank you.
Only in
You
Kiki's
know?
line.
So, we are now joined by the wonderful and magnificent. There we go.
Toy Rose
I
is
get
in the
I get to
building.
see my ponytail from the side.
Oh, one thing.
She's in the
So, Nice, Tori, do y'all have any questions for Tracy?
Well, she actually answered my questions. I was going to ask, what are like some steps you can take to de-stress? And she just said a list of things. So I wrote all those down.
What would you say to someone? So for me, for years, I was on an antidepressant. Well, for about 18 months, a specific one. And it was during a time when we had several deaths back to back. So we lost my grandmother on a Wednesday, Kiana's mother on Friday. Oh, no, my grandmother on Monday, Kiana's mother on Wednesday, my best friend 5 weeks later. So we had 3 deaths back to back. So for 18 months, I was on this medicine and I was gaining weight. I was chunky. I thought I was chunky. The guys were like, ooh, chunky. So, but when people would say, oh my God, you're gaining weight. What are you doing? Well, what you doing? I was embarrassed, right? To say, oh, I'm on this antidepressant. I didn't even realize the first 15 pounds happened during the winter. So I didn't realize until I went to like button a shirt and wouldn't button, you know, coming between winter and spring. So what would you say to someone who has their own internal embarrassment about taking medication or sharing with their family that they're on medication? So I would just lie and be like, I'm on birth control. And they would say, but we thought you were celibate. I know, but it's helping with my cramps. And so you build out this lie because I never felt empowered to say to my family, I needed help. I was not coping. So what do you say to someone who has their own internal struggle with just being honest about taking medicines?
I would say share where you're comfortable, because sometimes people take that information and use it against you.
Okay.
So share where you're comfortable. Although I feel like there's healing in being transparent, sometimes there's a certain group of people you can't share it with, because then the first thing they say to you is, oh, did you take your medicine?
Right.
Oh, you know, Tori's crazy. She taking them crazy pills.
Right.
You know, that's why she acting like that, because she's taking her crazy pills.
Or she need to take her medicine.
Right. So, you know, you have to be mindful of who you're sharing with. There are a lot of medications that cause weight gain, but there are also modifications now for medications that don't cause weight gain. So if that is a concern of people's, you know, talk to your physician about that, because they can adjust that to give you something else. I'm a migraine sufferer, and one of the medications that they treat with is old tricyclic antidepressant, SSRI, called nortriptyline. I gained 20 pounds on that. And that was a huge issue for me, because I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm a little chunkier,
Right?
You know.
And how tall are you, Tracy?
Then I'm 5'3".
Right,
I'm like, I don't
right.
want to be, you know, that big at all. And of course, I carried it well to some people, but to my clothes, I did not.
Right.
But you have to do what works, you know, for you. If you want to share it, share it. If not, then don't. You don't have to. Like, I don't want people to feel pressure to say, oh, this is what I'm taking. But at the same time, don't hide behind it either. You know, share it if you have to. Like, it's not a bad thing to take medication. Honestly, be empowered by it, because you sharing it will empower somebody else.
Awesome.
That
Thank
is
you.
true. We appreciate that. Tracy, can you tell us how to contact you, how to get in touch with you? I'm sure people found this information interesting. They may want to come and need to come see you. Sure. So tell them how they can find you.
I can be reached at www.reclaimingHopeLLC.com. Reclaiming Hope LLC. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, any social media platform except Twitter. So I'm pretty responsive. Time frames, if you leave a message, I'll get right back to you. If you have questions through my website, send an email. It comes right to me. If you text the number, it comes directly to my cell phone. So I'm accessible. So if you call the number, you will get me. You will not get a secretary. You get me.
Who in our family was short? I think all of us are like 5'3", 5'4".
Everybody. Like, ain't that many.
Quick question though, real quick before we wrap up. What type of insurances do you take?
Wow, you hurt my brain. That's so creepy.
So I accept medical assistance.
Okay.
I accept Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and I accept Cigna.
Okay.
So if someone has an insurance that you don't accept, could they pay out of pocket?
You can pay out of pocket. So another issue that I find that most government employees have is that they don't want traces of, even MTA, they don't want traces of therapy on their universal record. They feel like that's a mark against them. You can pay out of pocket, and that does not show up on your record because there's no way to trace that. It's not run through your insurance, so you can pay out of pocket. It's no excuse not to get therapy. A lot of therapists also offer sliding scale fees. So if you feel like you can't afford it or you make a certain amount of money, it's affordable. We work with you if you really want the help. And there are some places that offer pro bono therapy. So, don't go without it for the sake of feeling like you can't afford it, because there are places available.
That's good. Awesome. Well, we want to say thank you so much. And you guys can still drop your questions for Tracy. You can also catch her on her social media. If you send us a question for her, you can also reach out to us to get her contact information. So thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Tracy Allen. Yes.
I'm going to text you about October 15th.
Yes, we're having a resource fair October 15th.
All right.
So we definitely going to need you in
Yes,
the
definitely.
place. Yes. So that's it. We're going to go to commercial, and we'll be right back with our next guest and your wonderful host.
All right.
Yes.
Hey, it's so interesting to be back on the set. I think I was in the wrong
Busybody.
seat earlier.
Taking care of the community.
Taking care of the
The
community.
communites.
The communites. Hey, everybody. It's the Connected Corner where we give you news and resources you can actually use.
Yes.
Tori Rose, feeling great. Want to give a shout out to the Reservoir Hill Improvement Council. We just were there. Thank you guys for having us. Thanks for snacks. My son said there were snacks. I didn't see any, but I'm assuming they were amazing. So,
Man, I ain't get a bag of chips.
I know, I think Josh ate all the snacks.
Oh, he didn't bring us nothing
Hey,
back.
y'all.
Box.
We're going to roll right into our next guest.
Yes.
So we have, I'm going to read it a little bit. We have the amazing Mr. Diwee. He's a business owner, an event planner, marketer, and the founder of the director of the GROW program. The GROW program is a nonprofit organization. It's a certified 501c3. It started a few years ago, and I'm going to let him talk a little bit about it. But something that just really, really stuck out to me is that we started out as a volunteer mentor for young boys, right? I don't even have to read this part. because he touched our family, right? So my godson, he's really my son, Kiana just had him for me, was actually in Diwee's program over 10 years ago. And so we want to hear from Diwee. We want to hear about the GROW program. We want to hear about the services he provides for New Visions Academy. We want to hear about his clothes. He always so fly. So we want to, in a connected corner kind of way, bring Mr. Diwee on.
Yes.
Mr. Diwee, come on down.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, y'all.
Thanks for having me.
Look, I said, hey, y'all. Hey, you.
Hey.
So, Diwee, this is the time where we give our guests the opportunity to go live if they want or to set their phone up.
There's a lot of phones going
There's a
on.
lot of
it's a
the
lot of
technology,
little technology.
computers.
Say hey to the
So we
people.
want to make sure we're not hitting
So I
and
go set
missing.
my phone up.
You can.
You
And then let me
sure
tell
can.
you, the hard part is I'm going to let you set your phone up.
Okay.
You're going to want to tag and post, and I'm going to talk to you at the same time. So I'm going to see if you can use your right and left brain.
I'm just a guy. You want me to know when and walk? What
And
we
work
doing
at the
here?
same time.
Hold on.
So go ahead.
at the
While
same
Diwee
time.
is getting set up, can we see? Can you scoot this one over a little bit? Y'all, drop your comments. Let me know on the Tori Rose Talks Community Connections page. Have you ever worked with children? If so, what's been the hardest part of working with kids?
Somebody call and tell me how to go live. How about that?
Oh, because I'm not using my. Oh, how to go live?
Well, I
That's so
work
funny.
with kids. I work with kids in PG County, and the hardest part, I guess, is for me. It wasn't really hard because I mean I related to them, but I would say them not listening, not taking your advice, the advice that you're giving them choosing the wrong way instead of the way that you know that is right for them. So I would say that advice. Yeah, they heard that.
Awesome.
Yep.
That was good. Nice. So we can do right, Lord Jesus. We can do multiple things. We're women. We can multitask. So I think for me, hey, Diwee's followers, follow me at elect_Tori
I never
Rose.
go live though. So
Hey,
I'm not
Eric.
gonna be mad.
Hey, y'all. So this is, for me, I can be honest and say that the hardest part of working with children is when they share all of their personal business. And so when the kids come back and say, my mommy at 9 o'clock, Mr. Alvin was there, and then Mr. Peanut came and took us out for dinner. Do you know Mr. Peanut? My mommy said he knows all the women in Baltimore City. And so that has been extremely challenging for me because sometimes they get so comfortable they share things that have to then be reported.
Wow.
So have you ever been in that situation? Has anyone ever shared something with you, any child that made you say, wow, I love this kid. I'm excited about growing and developing with this kid, but now I got to report what it is that they've shared with me.
So let me backtrack for a second. So you're a therapist?
No. So y'all start giving me new jobs. Right. So start giving me new jobs. So no, I used to fight and not want to work with children, right? Because I was abused as a child. I was homeless as a child. And I always say, and they've heard me say this, you have to first be healed before you can help someone's child. And so as a mentor, I just always worked with adults because I knew that I was still very much healing. I knew that I could watch a movie or hear a child say they were being abused, and I would be extremely angry. I mean, so angry I would pull up. Like, oh, where your mother live?
Right.
Oh, okay. So I was not healed through my own traumas to be able to pour into someone's child, right? So I stuck with adults. But I have a son. I don't know if you've seen him. He's about this big, little blue hair, named Joshua. And so what my son started doing was telling people, my mom's a teacher. My mom's a life coach. I mean, he was 4 or 5 and signing me up for stuff.
Gotcha.
So at 5 or 6, he was at the SEMA program at Morgan State University, science, technology, engineering, math, all of that. And at the time it was SEMA, it's now MURAP. And they were looking for a 3rd grade teacher. And my son was like 6. And he said, my mom's a teacher. And so they came and asked me, and I was like, teacher of what? I'm an instructor, an adult instructor. And Miss Tia, she got me. If anybody knows Miss Tia from Morgan, she said, well, just teach this one Saturday. Turned into 3 years.
Oh,
And so it turned into 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
must be a pretty cool thing.
You know what was cool? It was cool when you got to work with children. And I think Kiana may have said it earlier. And you're not going to interview me the whole time. Let me just go and flip this
Right,
back.
you see, he flipped it. He like switched it up. Like, wait a minute, is he interviewing us?
So,
Is that?
it was cool
think he's
because
slick.
as an instructor, you start to see things in adults, and then I would go into my classrooms on Saturdays, and then I also became the lead of the youth ministry in my church, and so what I started seeing was the byproducts. So now I identify in this child something that if I don't help heal at this level, it's going to become the adult that is having the challenges at work. It's going to become the adult that can't deal with authority. That's going to become the adult that sabotages every positive thing in their world because no one has reinforced, helped, and help this child learn coping mechanisms, right? And so because of that, because I didn't want my sisters to have to date these grown children, right? Like I got little sisters the age of my students, I started understanding the need to invest in them differently. So coming back to you, what made you decide to start investing in children? Boom, look at that boomerang.
That's great. So she brought it back on to me. Well, first of all, my name is Diwee. Welcome to my show.
Yes.
I'm interviewing people.
I love it. From state to state.
Yeah, so I gotta give a shout out to a few people actually that got me involved in all of this. One of the first individuals, DJ P. Chris. Let me shout out DJ P. Chris. Yeah. So I was still in the music industry back then. So like Ruffins, Mario.
Oh wow. So you know Mario's my cousin's brother.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I found Mario. Me, Troy, and Scott. He was still in a group with LB and them. Shout out to LB. Haven't talked to him in a while. He was in he was in a group, like four of them, whatever. So long story short, music industry for years. And P. Chris one day was like, yo, the way you moving and stuff like that, I think you would do well with kids. I'm like do what? Like with kids, you know what I mean? So that was one of the first things that started. Actually, a few things happened kind of simultaneously. And also with, shout out to Set the Captives Free because that's when I was mentoring your son.
Yes, Kobe.
Yeah, so Glenn Love, gotta give a shout out to Glenn Love, the homie. Wow. Glenn was like, yo, you need to mentor kids. Like, you should mentor kids. I'm like, yo, what you even talking about? What I'm gonna tell them? You know what I mean? And he was like, nah, yo, they'll listen to you. And shout out to Elder D. I love big homie Elder D.
You get one more shout out before we charge you. Because all these people, I'm not prepared to come to Connected Corner give us resources.
They will come. Glenn Love will come.
Glenn Love will come. I like Glenn and Elder D.
Oh, you know
family.
Glenn?
Yeah. So I transitioned into your church for like 6 months, transitioned in and out. He just keep flipping this thing to me.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead.
You know Glenn?
Yes, we know Glenn. So tell me about Glenn. That's how you do the interview.
Right.
So go ahead.
But no, these are the people who literally like reached out to me early because I was straight music industry stuff. Shout out to Los and Sherry Dennis.
Cash App him.
Yeah.
Send that request through.
But yeah, so I was music industry.
You definitely know he was in the music industry. That's that music industry right there.
I
want to give a shout out to God,
to my mother,
Mama,
to my other mother.
Coolio,
Yo, exactly.
So all of these people, let me bring them
around the same time. Telling you.
We're confirming something that P. Chris said.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, not just P. Chris, they was all around the same time hollering at me.
Okay.
And around the time I went over to New Era Academy in Cherry Hill with P. Chris, Glenn was like talking to me, and then he brought me over to Elder D, and he's like, yo, let's put together a mentoring program.
Right.
He's like, we don't know how to do that. And all of us kind of like put our brains together and help Elder D with his vision.
Right.
So that's how it started, helping Elder D with his vision.
Awesome.
And then I quickly realized that this was my purpose.
Yeah.
It's beyond a passion. It was my purpose.
I tell you, when we're looking at our village, and I know Kiana will agree, and Dee has had the benefit of being in Kobe's presence. Kobe has a swag about him.
Yeah, Kobe got swag. Kobe got swag.
That thing is so deep. But I'm telling you, we used to high-five tag team at his schools. And so when you came into his life, he was about between 8 and 10. And we were talking about a child that the school system was saying was not going to. You know, one of those child. Not going to do this, not going to do that. Not going to be successful, not going to have this. And so what we don't understand is the people who are being purposed to add value in our journey. And you were one of those people for Kobe. And so Kiana then became a Diwee advocate, right? So you probably owe her money. The commercials that she made.
Oh, man. The Cash App's on the way.
The Cash App's on the way.
Yeah,
and
it was
for
interesting.
The Grow program.
For the Grow program.
From a parent perspective?
That's interesting right there.
Yeah, I mean, most certainly. I'm not going to shout out again.
Right. I want to shout out all 41 and a half.
I want to shout out
that we first mentioned.
that he first mentioned, Operation Timothy at Set the Captives Free, because I call Elder D. We're family. He's my cousin, but when you go through and you're like, I'm going crazy. Like literally, I was at work. I would be I would be at work like, please don't let my phone ring.
Not today, Lord.
Like not today.
Yeah.
My phone will not ring. I will not have a teacher call me. I will not counsel y'all how to counsel my child. Like it was rough.
Yeah.
Like literally
Sneaking in the back of the classroom, sitting and watching, and then having to advocate. I'm sorry to cut you off, but from Kiana's perspective as a teacher at the time, right? Because were you a teacher?
I started teaching and then I went back to Hopkins after. Yeah.
And so I was not teaching children at all, but then having to go against, it's almost like a teacher code, right?
Sure.
Like when we come in, we're on the side of the teacher sometimes. There's these unspoken codes.
Sure.
But then to sneak in the back of the classroom, she's done it, I've done it, our aunt, who is an amazing developer of all people, has done it, and then have to coach and navigate and help mediate between the adult teacher and your adolescent child.
Yeah, and it was rough. And so when he got into, I called, I was like, I got to get him in something. And so LD told us about Operation Timothy. I brought him in. And, initially Kobe being Kobe, was like, begrudgingly kind of going. But I will say when you started coming in, it really changed it for him. And he would just talk about it. So it's so funny, like we say, 6 degrees of separation. So I had Kobe talking about Diwee, saying, first he would just say, this guy came in and he told us how, he used to do this and that. And then looking at you now, it's like, and he changed his life around. And so hearing that and hearing because, our young people, when they struggle in school a little bit, to hear like, okay, other people had struggles, it really, really helped him. So Kobe got in 5th grade, like 11 years old, and went through high school. And so we went through the growing stages of middle school and still kind of getting calls, and you being there, Elder D being there for him, and it changed his life.
I'm gonna cut you off. Kiana said you changed your life around. How you changed your life around? Go back to that. You just skated through it. I changed my life around.
Right.
I got out of music and got into kids. No. Don't turn this on me. Turn this on you. Tell us. What does that mean? You turned your life around.
So before music industry, which I really don't like. I like to be transparent, but I don't like to park it there too long because it's so glorified.
Right. And you can give us 30 seconds. You only have to cry. I left my tissues in the bed. Just let us understand the transformation.
Yeah. So definitely, we was heavy in the streets. Me and my friends. We was real heavy in the streets, and heavy in the streets means just getting money.
Right.
That
we
thing.
get it. The second we understood. We from Baltimore.
Facts.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. And everybody from Baltimore already know what it is, so I don't have to.
Right.
But I don't relive that at all on one of my pages and stuff.
And so, but you were there.
Definitely.
And it gave you life experiences.
Definitely.
And then how did you convey those life experiences to your children?
Well, that speaks to the pain that is the foundation for the passion, which leads to the purpose, So the level of patience that I have with a young person is going to be far more than most staff in a school.
Right.
Because as soon as they see that student rob somebody or rob a teacher or spit on somebody and spit somebody's face, they write them off. That kid is done. That kid is the demon. And I'm like... that kid ain't did nothing.
Right.
At 14 years old, I'm buying multiple cars, driving up out of town, speaking to them people who don't even speak my language.
Right.
Getting them whole things, sending them out of town. You know what I mean? So that kid ain't bad to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That kid ain't lived a fraction of what I live. You know what I mean? So that's the kid that I want. So when I go into the schools, I deliberately go after those kids.
That's right.
I speak their language, So I have a system in terms of how I turn their lives around, and it's not a 1 day fix. It's not a 1 month fix. It's not a 1 year fix. I got guys that's been with me 10 years and longer.
That's
right. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember Jeff, but Jeff works for my program. You know what I mean? And he's
Wow.
And he's told me one day like, yo, D, like I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Meaning he was at a fork in the road in terms of where he was going to stay, his place of employment, and that's what we got to do, y'all. We listen. I just talk about this. I'm like, yo, we got to create our own companies, create our own opportunities, and then create some pathways for our boys. You know,
Most certainly.
because that's at the end of the day, people aren't born like, you know, in the streets. People not just out there for fun.
Right.
They out there surviving.
Right.
And when they don't have opportunities, that's when the hunger is growling, and they going to do what they need to do to get what they need to get.
That's so good. So something you said, people not out here for fun. So I think the greatest struggle I've had personally is seeing kids that come from more suburban areas, Howard County, Baltimore County, Prince George's County, who infiltrate a system. You know, they stay in the city, they're talking like they're from the city because they do think it's fun, and they do think it's cute, and they do want to prove that they're tough. But then they go home to, you know, homes where mom and dad are making collectively together 250 plus. And so there's a place of privilege where you get to come in and out of this environment. How do we help our children, the children that this is their current reality, understand that A, there's perpetrators amongst them, and then B, it's okay to leave that world? How do we teach them that?
Well, what I want to do is I'll speak to my system and the type of kids that I target. And you're absolutely right. You have a lot of kids who they watch it's music videos, social media. They're making this lifestyle cool. Girls only want to deal with bad boys. All of these things shape an idea. And you're right. But the kids that I work with are from the communities that perpetuates their lifestyle and their behaviors and stuff like that. So what I end up having to do to help shape their lives and go in a different direction. I'll share a story with you. Trayvon's now over 18, so I can speak about his story. So Trey is one who he got kicked out the house. So he literally out there in the street. He'd be like, yo, I was out there, you know. And so that's why he started messing with the Bloods heavy out in his way. And he actually from the PG area. I have boys like all over. And so since he was like, yo, since I'm out there, he didn't have a whole lot of options. So he started messing with the homies around his neighborhood. Since he's the bottom of the totem pole, he gets sent on the dummy missions. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Assignments.
So, exactly. So he get jammed up at one of the missions. He robbed a nigga, whatever, get the banging a pistol. And, you know, next thing you know, he locked up, you know. So I stay in communication with him, and I'm like, yo, we're going to help get you home, and we're going to have a system laid out for you. So basically the system is this. We got to meet their basic needs. So when you guys see me, I don't know if you paid attention over the years when I'm doing the clothing drives. I would shout out everybody else who supports those clothing drives.
Thank you to everybody.
They told me no more shout outs.
111 of y'all. We'll put your names in the comments later.
But yeah, so we did those clothing drives. We did all these different things.
And we've seen them. They've been amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we do is, like right now in my office right now, I have the dopest stuff. You know what I mean? Like these right here, they going up on the block soon too. You know what I mean?
What are they? I wish we could show people your feet.
No,
we're going to take pictures and show you guys. What are they though?
No, we ain't got to do that. But listen,
Okay.
so we just do dope stuff like that. Like a lot, my wardrobe has been on a chopping block.
Right.
You know, and all the supporters. Right. Oh, I will.
Put that watch up there. Let me get that.
That ain't going on.
Y'all gotta understand. I'm on a campaign trail.
That ain't going on. And these is older than the kids.
The shoes too big for me. I can fit the watch.
I'm scared to even be out here with the Michael Kors on, not because of my community, but because of the haters. It's like, well, she don't have a job. How she got this Michael? This Michael Kors, 19 years old. It's spelled wrong.
Exactly.
It was when he was a baby.
Yeah, my stuff is old too.
Right.
Just take care of it.
Right. Fast.
Yeah. So what happens is, prime example, one of our events that we're about to do at the office, right? It's going to be called Life Skill Shopping Spree. That's coming up in about 2 weeks, right?
Give us the dates.
I don't have the exact date.
All right, 2 weeks.
I need a plan about that, but I'll reach out to you guys.
Okay.
So at the office, like I like to teach life skills. I like to teach my kids about credit scores and stuff.
Yeah,
I like to teach my kids about hourly wages and the quality of living. The type of stuff I just didn't understand. I'm just learning this stuff. You know,
How old
just
are you? 32, 30?
Oh,
49?
I'm old. I am 42. Like, I'm,
Right.
yeah.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
That's not that old. You're
Yeah, I'm
younger
for
than
real.
Kiki.
I'm for real old.
Hey, yo, stop.
Wait a minute, hold up.
Just stop.
You're not that old. You younger than Kiki.
Hold up. Kiki, you didn't catch that one. That,
You
that
are
went,
younger than Kiki.
that went
Hey,
over
listen.
Kiki head.
So,
All right, I was like, yeah.
He's like,
So-
hold up, wait a minute. Oh, that's what's up.
So-
Hold up. I'm old as hell out here.
listen, we got so off track. I don't even know where I was at, but hold on.
So, bringing it back.
Oh yeah, so I was talking about
Closing
how I
the office.
incentivize.
Yes.
Yeah, how I incentivize the kids, right? We got to meet them where they are, right? So they out there robbing. At the end of the day, everybody just want to eat. They want to do well. They want to live fly. Like a lot of kids is not going to school because they don't have clothes. They don't feel good about
They don't
themselves.
want to be bullied.
Yeah, and everybody gonna crack on you. You know, when the tennis shoes ran over, everybody gonna crack on you. They not gonna let you live. So I don't try. What we do is we meet them where they are. We encourage them by incentivizing them so that they can make their connection with hard work, accomplishing goals, and getting the stuff that you see on those music videos. Right now, they got robbed to get that stuff. Because even the ones that's out there selling pack, they ain't getting no money. So they can't buy that stuff for real. They're going to be out there hustling for them pennies and still robbing. You know what I mean? That's just what they doing, you know? So you come to my event, life skill shopping spree. So you answering questions. You know, we teaching. I love to teach in non-traditional learning environments. I create my own environments, you know, because the schools don't want us learning certain things.
Right.
So we gotta pay leases. We gotta get our own buildings, and we gotta put people in those buildings and teach them the things that the school ain't gonna teach them. You know what I mean? And we gotta put our own money up to do this. You know?
Exactly.
And then so what happens is when we educate them, it's fun. You know what I mean? So so we're using education and the way that they get to buy all this stuff, because at the end of the day, answering questions is how you get money. And so the game board we're going to base the next event off of is Derek Grace's game board. If you guys know who Derek Grace is. So his money is kind of like Monopoly money, right?
Yeah, I love him.
Exactly. So he the homie. So we gotta keep supporting each other.
That's
That
so
expensive
good.
love
game
it.
board he got, but
He's
I
dope.
love we gotta spend our money with each other. You know.
That's so good.
So when the kids answering questions, right? They like, oh, credit score is this, or budgeting is that, or whatever.
Right.
So they get in the Monopoly. Well, the fake money,
Right.
Because it's not Monopoly.
Right.
I'm not supporting.
Right.
I'm supporting the black-owned joint.
Right. It's Blackopoly.
A black apple,
apple.
exactly. So that money, at the end of everything, they get to go into the next room. The next room is we're gonna be popping tags, and you guys can help me because we gotta put some tags on all the clothes. So I'm talking about.
Wait a minute, but that's not chauvinistic. You're not asking the women just to come and do things that like put tags. I'm just making sure that it's equality across the board.
No. All right, so first off,
I'm just making sure.
First off, I don't make any business moves without women.
That's
Like,
right.
Right.
Okay,
I don't make-
better
Say that again.
I don't make
Say that
I mean
again.
everybody knows that I don't make any business moves without women. I can say
because
that
we are
'cause
fair
nobody
and
gonna check me
logical
on that,
and
'cause-
strategic and solution based.
Absolutely.
Amen.
That is absolutely what I always say.
Thank you.
And
You said that
cross the
you always
T's,
say
dot the I's, without a question. And even when I say, help from that standpoint, I'm talking about when we're speaking, I don't like to be the only one talking and teaching because I bounce ideas off of everybody as I'm talking and teaching.
Are you an Aries?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I'm a Leo.
It's
Y'all
a
be
single
getting my
woman.
man off a track. He like,
Right,
nah.
he's like, no. Because first of all, he thought I was the
I'm a
feds.
Leo.
He was like, who you work for?
So what happened was, I was like, nah, because honestly, like, I don't even follow the signs, and I don't know what that stuff means.
Right.
Like, so when you asked me earlier, I don't really know what that stuff means.
He was like,
you know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know.
I don't know,
Right,
like whatever
right.
the sign is. Yeah.
He was like, look, he's
I know
going to
my
take his
sign,
DNA back. He was like, leave me alone.
Yeah. In a nutshell, what I'm saying is, like our boys is out there, and they need guidance, right? The guidance has to come from people who they look up to, right? And the opportunities. Like even one of my mentors, he called me before I came in here, Tonio. I can use he told me I can share his story as well. Tonio, Pennsylvania Avenue, everybody know the homie, Sirs dude. But when I got back, he's like, yo, big homie, how we moving? You know what I mean? He come to one of my first parties. He got the thing on him. I'm like, yo, we not moving like that. Like that was the 90s, though. We moving another way. You know what I mean? And ever since then, he been following me. You know, he was working with the program. He was a mentor with the program. He's moved on. He just got married a lawyer.
That's what's up. Oh,
Completely
congratulations.
changed his life. You know, making good money. And bought a house.
Congratulations.
But anyway, so the point of what I'm saying is, if somebody else would have came to Tony and was like, yo, I got this hourly job, whatever, he looked at him like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm over here moving like this. But since, you know, somebody who he considers a big homie gave him opportunity, it makes him feel closer to the ownership, makes it more prideful. And it's like, yo, okay, that's what we doing there. And we're going to do the parties. Oh, and we're going to do this. And all right, yeah, I'm with that. You know, so now we got a homie that the younger people look up to, because he a little closer. I don't know them kids that's on the corner. You know what I mean? But they look up to people like him. You know what I mean? He put the work in that they respect.
That's
And now, so when he start changing his life, they can respect that. You know what I mean? And then the kids, they need to get the resources and opportunities from people like him. No more that people who don't look like us come into our neighborhoods being the saviors. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's undermining.
That's right.
They keep looking to a savior who don't look like us.
Or people who do look like us, because we are in a predominantly black and brown city, but who are not from here. So you're an outsider, right? Okay, what does that mean? You're not from here. You don't understand the history. You don't understand the culture. You don't know anybody on the block. You've never worked a block. You never walked down a block. You don't drive down a block. You don't have property on the block. You might have a piece of the block because you own your one little house, and your opinions are loud, but your actions are weak. And so what happens, I know I'm seeing this a lot in the community. Everybody and their mother wants to have an opinion about how I'm specifically moving, but I'm from here. And so there's a delicate way that I handle things because I'm from here. And I understand not only who the kids are on the corner, I know their parents. I know their grandparents. We understand the history of the family. And so we don't pick up a phone and run to the police as soon as something is happening. Because we understand the history and the culture. And I have families in my neighborhood who will tell you they've never owned. Oh yeah, we've been here for 60, 70 years. My grandmother was a renter. My mom, I'm a renter. My daughters rent. That you have to be of a certain culture fabric to be able to understand it.
Absolutely.
And so, two things, because we're running out of time. Is Diwee your real first name? Was that your birth name?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Diwee means beloved one.
Was it Swahili?
It is actually, so my mother was studying the faith of the Israelites. But I'm learning more and more about my name as I get older and travel the world. But
just give it to us again. The faith of the beloved. What was it?
it's beloved one.
Beloved one.
Yes, beloved one.
She said the faith of the beloved.
Beloved one. Okay, that's dope. And then, how do we find you?
Instagram, Diwee, DIWEE _SEWELL. And Diwee Sewell on Facebook.
He's probably the only Diwee we know.
Yeah.
And so, do people often think you're from New York?
I don't know.
So he sounds like us to me. And so people often think, and no, we from West Baltimore. They're like, nah, ain't no way. Yeah, we are. But so you sound like me. Okay. Any questions?
You got a question?
No.
You still got music connections? Don't shout them out. Just yes, no.
I don't deal with music at all. Please don't reach out to me for music.
Okay. I'll slide you a text later.
She is so funny. So you said you'll give us the information. You have an event coming up. Do you have any other things coming up that we should
can support and be there for?
Oh, can I plug some parties?
Come on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Parties is how I finance this mentoring in the community for all this time. I've never had a grant. Never had none of that. Wasted years writing for all that stuff. We get to it with them parties. So Thanksgiving Eve is coming up. I got a New Year's Eve party coming up. I'm not even going to announce the location yet, but I'm going to do it on my Instagram page soon.
Can I come and have a councilwoman table? Like
Of
Tory
course.
Rose? Okay.
What?
Awesome.
Let's do it.
We collaborations across the board. I almost called you today. So I'm working with clients who have a number of disabilities and challenges and things like that. And what I do is I help them get jobs. Okay, and I help them find sustainability in the community.
Love it.
And so one of my clients is he has an interview tomorrow. He's so excited about it. So we all worked with interview questions and all of that. And then we said, well, what are you going to wear? And he said, blue jeans. You can't wear blue jeans.
Right.
And so He said, well, that's all I have. And so I went to Facebook and I was scrolling through and I was like, I should reach out to Diwee. But the only reason I didn't, let me tell you why I didn't, because I know that every year around this time you have your closet. And so I try not to deplete from people who are already doing their things, right? Like if you had come in my mind, and I'm just thinking for you, and what you're saying is stop thinking for you. I heard you clearly.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm going to get them fresh. I got the shoes. What?
Well, there's tons of other opportunities, but what I was thinking was 34s and 32, certain sizes are kind of hard to come by at times, right? So I'm like, if I call Diwee, I don't want to take from what he's trying to do. So I knew you normally October or November do this closet thing, so I just didn't. I was like, well, let me just put it on Facebook. So I posted it on Facebook. Shout out to Steve Belcher. Steve's been here with the Urban Kidney Alliance. He came through, delivered it to me, like pulled up. Almost punched him in the face. I was like, I'm joking. But anything else? Any last words? How we can come, stay connected, how they can find you again? Give us your information one last time.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Diwee, DIWEE _SEWELL.
Yeah.
And so follow me. Shout out to the show for having me on here.
We're gonna have you back, and we're gonna give you a lot of time.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Shout out to you. I'm done. You guys
Well,
can have me
yes,
back.
thank you so much for coming on. We enjoyed this. This
I
was
do
great.
have two other things. Wait.
Oh, my goodness.
I lied.
Oh, yeah.
October 15th.
Yes, a little bit early.
So we read, we lead. We've been doing a series of, like Kiana mentioned, Grieve, Grow, and Go events where we understand that most of us are just continuously being traumatized. So we grieve on the go. We don't learn how to grow through it. So we've done those at the North and Hilton Library for a few months over the summer. We're moving now to Pennsylvania Avenue, North and Pensy, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's not going to be Grieve, Grow, and Go in title. It's called We Deserve to Live. Okay. And it's a health and resource fair, October 15th. We have community leaders and organizations from across the city coming. It's a Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 6:30, right at the Department of Health, 1515. Okay. And jokes to everybody who's older than 35 who was like, 1515.
Right.
Right.
I said 15.
15.
I can't even say it. Like,
15.
It's an event.
It's an event at 15. That's the only reason we're there is we have an event.
And to strengthen the community so they know now it's not just about, it used to be the STD clinic, so let me just let everybody know
so
why.
they understand why we like
it's the
15.
STD clinic, but now it's literally the hub for dental, pharmacy, men's health. There's so many collaborative initiatives that go on right in there. So please come out October 15th. And then on the 25th, which is a Friday, from 7 to 9:30, we're having poetry and paint with a purpose. And that's our team coming together in collaboration with moms of murdered sons and daughters and moms that demand action. So guys, there's some really, really good things happening. Yes. We need your commitment, we need your support, and we need your collaboration. And again, we need your connections. So stay connected.
Stay connected to the Connected Corner.
This is the Connected Corner. Thank you guys for tuning in. News and resources you can actually use. Many blessings. Catch us next Tuesday, 8:30ish.
Good night.
Good night.